Yes. What's going on, my people? As we get ready to talk about some important stuff today. Now, if you're joining me, just know at 3 o'clock, hey, what's going on? Eat up, Keith, what's going on? How you guys doing? Velko, what's going on? So today, at 3 o'clock sharp, which is like 2.5 minutes time, we're going to have a conversation about pensions. And it's brought to you by APA Insurance. And we're just going to have you can ask questions, and I'll tell you a few things that I know about such thing and how you can plan for the future and how you can safeguard your future and safeguard your money. Now, as far as I know, unless you're like VJ H Cross, you're not stupidly rich. Like, he's so very, very rich. So we're going to have a conversation at 3 o'clock about pension, the retirement age in Kenya. That's a good question. I think it's 65. What is the retirement age in Kenya? Retirement age in Kenya. That's why I like to come. It's 60. The mandatory retirement is 60. I guess it's like 65. From 65. It's 70. Who wants to be working at 70 though, fam? Wow. 60. It's 60 for public service, for public servants. Thanks for that, Austin, Baba TJ. That means that you'll be retiring in like 10 seconds. Right. And at the end, you can ask me about my beard care routine. So we're going to start at 3 o'clock sharp, and it's going to be open floors. You can tell me what it is, and you can tell me as well. And I'll also tell you a bit about my journey in the workplace as well. So we're going to start at exactly 3 o'clock, which is in 1 minute's time. Politicians work until death. We're going to start at exactly 3 o'clock. So is that light in the background going to bother me? I hope not anyway. Yeah, but anyway, as long as you can see me and hear me, it's fine. Are you hearing me okay? Let me know. Some thumbs up if you're hearing me okay. Some thumbs up if you're hearing me okay. If you're hearing me okay, give me some thumbs up. We've undone business. Wasandra's joined. I'm glad that Wasandra is here, because I'm going to talk about some stuff, because he's like 20. So yeah, big up Wasandra. If you guys can hear me okay, do this. You can hear me? Good stuff. All right. We are starting in 30 seconds. And feel free to ask your questions as well, because I don't have all the answers, but I know people who do. All right. So it is now exactly 3 o'clock. So let's start this conversation about retirement now. As y'all know, my name is Gmoney, because you know that because you're on my Instagram. But yeah, that's who I am. And y'all know me as radio presenter, hustler, and I've been doing my thing for a minute. Yeah, don't let the skincare routine fool you. I've been doing it for a minute. So let me tell you a bit. Let me go back a bit, tell you a bit about me and a bit about where I've come from. So I got my first job. Now, you can do the maths here. My first ever paying job, like my first ever waged job, was in 1991. November 1991, my first job. That's what, how many years ago? How many years ago is that? So like, let me think now. 1991, 29 years ago. Wow, 29 years ago. And I can tell you, and this is no lie, right? I can tell you exactly what I was wearing on that first job that I ever had. That first job I ever had. I can tell you exactly what I was wearing. I had a brown leather jacket, this ugly pinstripe suit. Oh, it was ugly, man. And in those days, it wasn't like skinny jeans or nothing. These big, horrible looking trousers anyway. But that was in 91. And I began my career in advertising, believe it or not. I used to work in advertising. So I worked for a company called London Transport Advertising. And what we used to do is we used to sell space on buses, bus shelters, train stations, and all that stuff. Now, when I started that job, I can remember my first salary was £501 a month. So that's like 29 years ago, £501. It's probably about 60k, probably more than that now because of the time difference and stuff, right? And I remember in that very first job that I had, they were taking money away from me from my pension. And I won't even lie to you, man. Like, I was like, how old was I? Can't even remember, like 18 or something like that. And I was like, yo, we got mature Kelvins. Why are these guys taking money from me? I'm like 18 years old. Why are you taking money from my salary for pension? Now, I lasted in that job, or rather, I did that job for 6 years. 6 years, and obviously paid my pension for 6 years in that job. Since that job, I left that job because I was so unhappy, working in the office and all that stuff. And when I left that job, I went to work in a record shop. Now, when I went to work in the record shop, even the record shop were like, yo, we're taking money from your pension. And I'm like, yo, I'm 20. Why are you taking money from me for my pension? Now, I worked in the other record shop for like 2 years. And then I opened my own record shop. And then I went to One Extra. Big up DJ Q, how you doing? Big up my brother DJ Q. Good to see you here in the chat. What we're doing right now is we're having some real conversations about retiring and, saving for the future. So since that third job of mine, I went to the BBC where as a freelancer. When you freelance at the BBC, you're paid all of your money in like a block. And then you have to go and sort out your own taxes and your own pension situation. So a few years ago, my brother said to me, he was like, yo, if you don't plan for the future, what usually happens is, when you watch these old movies on TV and you see these old white guys and they're working in the Apple store at the age of 70. They're working in the Apple store because they need to bolster their income as they get older. So when people think about pensions being for old people, what I kind of want to represent in this conversation alongside my good friends at APA, what I want to represent for all you young people who are looking at this right now is that journey where you begin to save for your old age should begin today. And it should begin today. And let me tell you why it should begin today. We live in Kenya, we love Kenya. But you and I know, if you're going to rely on the government to look after you when you get older, you're going to be kind of stressed out as you get older. So you need to begin to look at these things. For example, COVID-19 came. None of us knew that COVID-19 was going to come. So many people lost their jobs. Guys had not saved money. They had no savings. Guys' standard of living went down as well because they had not prepared for the future. If there's nothing else we learn from COVID-19, we should learn how important it is to plan for the future. And that's why I want to talk to you today about pensions. And I'm so glad that I'm teaming up with APA now. APA and me, we have a long history. If you used to come to Walk with G, we used to do their International Days of Happiness. So I've got a long association with APA and they're very good friends of mine and have always supported me in what I do. For example, they were the sponsors of the last Walk with G at Karua before COVID struck. Now, why would you even care about your pension if you're 25 years old? Well, there are quite a few reasons why you need to care and why you need to plan. Let's go into those reasons first of all. We live in a time with, there's a lot of, I need to move that camera a bit so the light, is the light bugging you guys? Anyway, it's not bugging me. Right, so we live in a time, there's a lot of medical advancements here, abroad, everywhere, right? So our life expectancy is longer. If you look at 100 years ago, people were like kuffing when they were like 50, 55, those ages and now. As the years go by, we all expect to live longer. And that means as we live longer, we have to prepare for a longer period when we're not going to be working. So let's say that, God blesses you and you live to the age of 80 or you live to the age of 90. If you stop working at the age of 60 and you live to your 90, that's 30 more years of no income. 30 clean years of no income. Now, most of us are not politicians. We're not going to have access to NYS billions. Think about that. 30 years of no income. That's why you have to begin to prepare for that time now. And if God blesses you, who are you to say that you don't want God to bless you with a long life? Now, whether you like it or not, and My inspiration in life, one of my DJ inspirations in life is Jazzy Jeff. Jazzy Jeff is 50. How old is Jazzy Jeff right now? Jazzy Jeff is, I think he's 52. Jazzy Jeff age. 50. Jazzy Jeff is 55. 55 years old. Jazzy Jeff is 55 years old. Wow. The Fresh Prince. Y'all know the Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff? Will Smith? Them man there? 50s now. They're in their 50s, bro. And I've always looked at Jazzy Jeff as an icon. But do I want to be DJing when I'm 55? I don't know about that, man. I mean, it's iconic and all that stuff, but 55, I don't know, bruv. I think I kind of want to be sitting down writing a book or doing some other stuff, you know. So, you can't work forever, whether you like it or not. Even me, who loves work, who loves what I do, at some point I'm going to have to be like, yo, these early mornings, I can't handle them no more. You get me? So, you kind of have to understand that you can't work forever. So, you have to plan about what you're going to do when you finish working, you know what I mean? Now, we can't tell the future. We don't know what the future holds for any of us, right? Like, I don't know. I didn't even know I was going to end up in the 254. We can't tell the future, right? And your future may have more obstacles than you know. You never know. Like, you know, let me give you a very personal story. I was raised by my grandmother, right? And as you all know, I'm Granny's grandson. So, as my grandmother got older, my aunt, who was her youngest daughter, I always used to think in my mind, you know what, it's so great that I've got my aunt because, you know, if mum passes on, my aunt will become the matriarch of the family and all of that good stuff. You know, and I always thought to myself, my aunt would be there for continuity and all those things. As it happened, my aunt died before my grandmother. So that threw all of my plans out the window because all of a sudden there was property in Jamaica to look after. There was this to do. There were cousins who had no parents. It was mad. And that is something we could not have, or I could not have predicted. So your future may have some obstacles in it that you don't even know. And you know you can't just rely on government and all of these things. You know what I mean? And then think about your family as well. Think about your kids. Now, when I was growing up, my housey in Jamaica, she used to call her lastborn Pension. That was his nickname. And I said, why do you call your son Pension? Because she says, yo, he's my pension. If you plan, you will never have to name your kids Pension. You'll be able to look after yourself. And even them, when they begin to while out, you'll be able to look after them as well. And it is kind of unfair to put that burden on your family too. You know what I mean? So, why is it important today? It's important to think about this today. And I'm not just saying this because I've teamed up with APA. I'm saying this because I always say this. If you listen to the podcast, the mics are open. We always talk about financial planning. And it's something that is important to me. And I'll tell you why it's important to me. Because I was reckless. When I was like coming up in this game financially, I was the most reckless guy. Get money, spend money. Get money, spend money. Get money, spend money. And it was only when I went broke that I realized that I had no financial plan. And can you imagine something, yo? Imagine having a name like Gmoney. Gmoney! I'm in London. I'm the man. Nice cars, nice clothes. The man. But I'm broke. Broke. Fam, it was the most humbling time of my life. And I promised myself I'd never be reckless like that again. So that's why I've always spoken. And if you listen to the podcast, episode 10, we always speak about financial planning. Like for me, I have a spreadsheet where I know income, outgoing, how much have I spent eating out, how much have I spent on Ubers. Because you have to track and know where your money is going. You have to plan and know where your money is going. So I don't want to bore you too much with no more of that. I want to talk now about why you need to do it now. You need to do it now because time waits for no man. Bruv, let me tell you, I used to, when I was coming up in the industry, I used to look at the older DJs, the guys who would come before me, and I'd be like, yo, those guys are so old. Because, you know, I'm in my 20s, and those guys are so old, and some of these guys were in their late 30s and stuff, and I'm like, yo, these guys are so old. And you know, even after the gigs, I'd be like, shout out to Alphonse, how you doing? I'd be like, yo, these guys are so old, bro. Like, Kumbe, I'm those guys now. And even beyond. Time flies, bro. Like, could you believe me, who we're having this conversation now? You know Gmoney, y'all follow me. Y'all have been around. Let me ask you guys a question, right? Nick, let me ask you a question. Where were you guys 13 years ago? Tell me what you guys were doing 13 years ago. 13 years ago. Calculate right now. And in the comments, tell me what you were doing 13 years ago. 13! And I'm going to wait for y'all to comment. I'm going to wait a bit for y'all to comment. Tell me why. Tell me where you were in 13 years ago. Just think about that. And I'll tell you why I asked the question. Vinny says I was talking ish. Max says he was getting to campus 13 years ago. S. Kigo says high school. Brandon says I was 12 years old, G. Nick says I was in Form 1 at high school. Alright. 13 years ago, Kosso was in campus. Big up Kosso. Melanin was 6 years old. Wasandra was in high school. How could you be in high school 13 years ago, bro? Minor says he was in high school. Cool. Bruh, 13 years ago, I was playing my first song on Homeboys Radio. Think about that. You guys were at school. Class 5, primary school. And I was doing this thing here. Time is bold. It feels like I've been doing it for 5 years. 13 years. Pow. Imagine that. Y'all are all saying, wow, I'm here supporting Gmoney. And 13 years ago, I was 6. I was 7. I was 9. The point I'm telling you, I know time flies. And that's why, you see, don't think, I don't like going to the gym. But I go there because I know if I don't go there, I'll be like, you get me? Time flies. You need to invest in your future today. Now, there are different types of ways in which you can pay for your pension. Good companies will subtract it from your salary as you go along. But sometimes you have to organize it yourself, right? And that's why I'm excited, and that's why I'm kind of happy about the APA situation. So what APA have done is that they've created a individual pension plan. And they realize that life in Kenya is not as, should we not stable is not the right word. Your employer is not always going to have your best interests at heart. Some of them are not even going to worry about your future. Once the work is done, they don't really care. So what they've done is create a plan that you can be in control of. It's the individual pension plan. And I was speaking, shout going out to Joyce at APA. I even called James at APA. Shout going out to all the team there as well. And also shout going out to the agency as well, because they've helped to make this happen. And we spoke about their individual pension plan. Now, why do I like this? And I had to sit down and think long and hard about this. I'm the kind of person who likes flexibility. No lie. Like, I don't like to be tied to anything or anyone. I don't like that. That's me. I've got the biggest commitment issues in the world. So, if I'm going to save in a plan, I need to save in a plan that's flexible for me. And the APA individual pension plan is completely flexible. Now, what does it mean flexible? You who's sitting there, you might be thinking to yourself, oh, you know, yeah, I'm just 20, man. I can spare 1,000 bob or 500 bob a month. But you're 20. By the time you're 30, you might be able to spare 30K. You might be able to spare 15K, right? Now, the thing about it is this. The APA individual plan is as flexible as you are. You pay the money into it as you can. And you begin to accrue interest the day you put that money in. So let's say, for argument's sake, you put in 1,000 bob today, but you only have 500 bob next week, or 250 the week after, or you get some dough, you have 10. You can pay into the individual plan, and it begins to accrue interest on the day that you put it in. And every month, you're guaranteed like a minimum of 4% interest. Now let's break that down. 4%. That's the minimum. In fact, in 2018, and yes, I've got notes here, in 2018, APA gave 10.5% net to the people in that individual pension plan. 10.5% means if you put in 100 G's, they've added 10 G's to your money clean. No, these charges here, charges there, right? Now, another thing that I like about the individual pension plan from APA is this. Flexibility is one. At some point in your life, you're gonna probably want to buy a house or buy a car or do something, right? Many pension plans will lock you in, and if you break the plan, then you pay all kinds of penalties and all kinds of whatever, right? Now, with the APA, I want to call it the IPP, individual pension plan, right? The money you put in, if let's say in 5 years' time you want to take some of it out to make a deposit on a house or a car, they will allow you to do so with no penalties. Because it's your own individual plan. It's your money. So they'll allow you to do that without any penalties. But just know, obviously, we're going to encourage you to keep money growing in there because you're saving for your future. That's one other thing I like about the plans. You're not locked in capsa when it comes to the IPP from APA. Now, one thing that I can tell you is important to me as well. I told you that I'm a commitment phobe, right? My pension in the UK began when I started my first job almost 30 years ago. I've been able to move that pension along to the various places to the point where I had to put it into an individual pension company, right? Or, independent pension company. Portability is important. And let me explain what that means. Let's say you work for Gava right now and you're paying your pension into Gava. And then let's say you stop working from them and you go to the private sector. You want to be able to take your payments with you wherever you go. Another good factor of the APA situation is that you get to take that pension where you go. Take it where you go. So think about that. I've told you that it's flexible, it's accessible, and also portable. Did you know that when you save money towards your pension, did you know that you get a tax relief on that money? Many people don't know that. So if God blesses you, you get a good job, you're getting up in life. If you want to protect the amount of money the government's taking from you in tax, the money you pay towards your pension gives you some tax relief. Fam, this is all the APA IPP, individual pension plan. That's what I can speak on today. And I wanted to make sure that I come and spend at least half an hour. And if you got any questions, throw them at me as well, because I think it's super important. Our parents didn't talk to us about money. They just said money doesn't grow on trees. And that's why I think so many of us just pursue money, because we think that's the only thing or the only way in which we can plan for our future. I'm saying to guys now, today, even if you don't want to hear what I'm saying, begin the conversation. Go to the APA website, read about the individual pension plan and see how it can fit in your life. You know what I mean? And if you want to hit me up and go live and have a conversation, let me see who's here. Let me go live with True Spur. Session when we speak about Gmoney, the brand, and how it's grown in 13 years. This is the closest thing you're going to get to a session with me talking about how. See, I've explained to you how I started working and they were taking my money for the pension and I didn't even know why they were taking my money. Do you know what I mean? But I'm glad that they have been taking my money for real. If you have any questions, you want to ask any questions, throw them down there. Shout out to Mark who says, I want to walk with G with APA. Walk with G is going to come back when things get back to normal so much. Shout out to Mitch Malako. For real. And the information, by the way, is all online. And I want you to independently go and do your own research as well. Don't just listen to me what I'm saying. Don't just listen to me what I'm saying, APA this, APA that. Me and APA have got a big history. Those are the guys who I respect and the guys who I trust. But you can definitely go and do your own research. And the fact is, you have to know you got to plan for that future. You know what I mean? Got to keep planning for that future. Are there any questions? Big up Jojo, trying to get through. Also, another thing that I want you to know about the APA individual pension plan, there are no hidden fees when you're joining, when you want to bounce, when you want to check your money out, when you want to get, some of your dough. No hidden fees, no none of this. We both live in Kenya. There are so many ways in which we do things, and then before you know it, oh, by the way, sir, there's a surcharge of this. It's all 100% transparent with the individual pension plan from APA. Remember, the earlier you start, the better it is. Let's say that you get to the age of 35 or 40, and then you wake up one day, or say even if you get 45, you're like, wow, you know what? I've got the whole of the rest of my life to worry about if I retire at 60. Imagine the amount of money you'd have to put into that payment plan at that age. Whereas now you can just start small, and grow as you go along. That's the beauty of why people need to pay attention to conversations like this. We can't just be talking about gengetone and these things. Sometimes we got to talk about actually real things that are happening and how you can definitely improve your future. All right, who's going live with me now? I can hear some sounds in the background, but I can't see anyone. S. Kaigo is asking what are the benefits. S. Kaigo, some of the can begin today. It's an individual pension plan, which means that you can put in as much as you can. There's no fixed amount. Some pension plans say you have to put 50K a month or 5K a month. You can increase, decrease as your life changes. In terms of flexibility, it allows you to be flexible with how much money you put in at whatever time. I've said that already as well. Abu Bakr says, Toa Kofia. See, there's no hair there, See, look, bald spots. Man's getting old, bruv. You get me? Man ain't running from it. Man's preparing for it. So, I'm going to have another live next week, around about the same time, with somebody from APA who's going to be able to give you a bit more details than I've given you. And just to recap, I want to remind you about some of the reasons why I think you need to plan for your future. You need to plan because, our life expectancy is increasing. We're living longer. And if you retire at 60 and you live to be 90, you got 30 years to pay for your own ish. You can't work forever. Fam, when I was just starting this radio thing in a proper way, right? I kid you not. I don't want to sound like a, what's the word? I don't want to sound like a, like any superstar. But anyway, fam, I used to leave work on a Friday afternoon. When I was in London, I would fly to New York, and New York is like 6 hours or whatever ahead, right? 5 hours ahead, whatever. I'd fly to New York. I would party Friday night in New York, Saturday night in New York, Sunday brunch in New York, and then Sunday night, I'd get a flight from New York back to London, sometimes even twice a month. Fam, you think I could do that now? Bruh, jet lag would mess me up. You can't work forever. You can't live that life forever. As you get older, you can't do it. You know what I'm trying to say? So even me, I'll tell you, there are things that I did in those days I could never dream of doing now. Your future may have more obstacles than your past or your present. Life might be going like that for you right now, or it might be going like that for you right now. But you never know, it can go like that. So you have to plan, and you have to definitely prepare for things like that. Life can go sometimes. God, I pray for you that your life is smooth with no bumps and it's all good. But your future may have more obstacles than your past. You never know. You can't rely on the government. You can't rely on government pension. That's why you need to get involved in your own. And also you got to safeguard your family as well, man. You know? I know some of you out there are working hard because you have to look after your parents, which is a good thing. But imagine if your parents were already nice and anything you gave to them went on top of what they already had. Imagine your kids not having to worry about you. That's got to be the biggest blessing. It's kind of unfair to put that pressure on your kids as well, man. You know what I mean? And you can start now. That's the most important thing. And that's the message. Shout going out to True Spurs, who says, Truth can't pull an all-nighter anymore. Bruh, I'm telling you guys, you see, you turn up, guys. You guys party every weekend, blah, 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 blah. Yes. If you don't remember anything else about this conversation today, remember one thing. A day will come when you'll be like, me, go and turn up 3 nights straight. My body just can't take it. You can't work forever. So plan for your future. Do the research. It's Wassandra's time now. He's 20. Let him go to Milan every Thursday and go to all these places 4 days a week. It's his time. But even him, 10 years time, he's going to be like, boy, I just want to be home, you know. I just want to be home. Raha is asking, G, with the benefits, can they be transferable towards health insurance, and what's your experience been? So, APA have got health insurance, which is a separate entity from your pension plan. So I would suggest that you go onto their website, APA, it's apa.com, let me just get up here, apa.org, apainsurance.org, go onto their website and have a look at all of their plans. They've got plans for everything, man, plans for healthcare, plans for your kids, going to school, all kind of plans. But, you know, work it out and get the plans the best for you, you know what I mean? Peterson says, where are you from, yo? You got an accent. I think Peterson has just arrived here. Like, he doesn't know. He missed a story about how long I've been doing what I do. There you go, apainsurance.org. Thank you, one boy. apainsurance.org. There you go. So definitely go to their website. For the person who asks about health insurance, they do have a health insurance. It's separate from your individual person plan. But the good thing about APA, they'll sit down with you and they'll say to you, okay, you want this, you want this. This is how you can get both. This is how much it's going to cost you. This is what you need to do. You know what I mean? Guys, half an hour has just flown. I'm going to leave this on my IGTV so you can watch it back again, or you can refer. Please, actually, I'm asking you, please refer people back to this Instagram live. Your friends, just send your friends a message saying, yo, G was talking about pensions and finances and stuff. Go and watch it. I'm going to leave it on my IGTV so that you can see it. I hope I've been helpful. Next week, I'm going to try and get somebody from APA and we'll have this conversation together. But yeah, I've enjoyed myself and I like doing stuff like this. I don't even want to go, but I said I'm going to do half an hour. I don't want to spoil it. And then by the time we get to 45 minutes, we're here telling jokes and talking about how rubbish Spurs, Manchester United, Chelsea and Liverpool are. You see, you know where this conversation will go. The focus, the individual pension plan from APA. Go to their website, apainsurance.org. We believe in ensuring your happiness and your future. And it's all love. I've enjoyed myself here today. Hope you've enjoyed my company. Tell your friends to come back and watch this video. Peace.